Whoa, you're so small.
There we go. I think that was emblematic of how I'm feeling about this, how we're both feeling about the Giants season. You have big hopes, and maybe mine aren't quite as big. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Hello. I'm going to say it's been way too long. The last show that we've actually done was the draft.
Oh, man, it was the draft. Well, the draft, the World War II draft, I think is what it was. This is, I got to get a Giants hat, by the way. I had one Giants hat.
Mm-hmm. I'm rocking the no hat.
I can't rock no hat because my hair is, well, it's not that bad, but I'm like Joey Gallo here for you Yankee fans, if there's any of us left. But I got to get a Giants hat. The one I had I was trying to wear it, but it was just too small. So, I don't know. I know this isn't. But anyway, we got some people commenting here. Hello, boys. Ready for Sunday. What's up, fellas? Sunday. We got Lil Yankee King, which I know he'll appreciate this. Sexy Mazook Bebe. Do you know what that's about? It's Justin. Hey, I thought that would be a girl.
Sexy.
Come on, man. What is that? Mazak? I don't know. What is he talking? Is that like Yiddish? What's up, Chris? How are you? Jose, nice to see you.
Yes, I must say it's been too long. I'm glad that we're back here and that everyone is doing well. And
hope everyone's doing good out there.
We got a lot to catch up on.
It's happening right now. Last time we spoke, things were different. Last time we spoke, it was the draft. We weren't sure about the offensive line. We weren't sure about injuries. And now, as I sit here today, we're in the exact same position as we were last time we spoke.
It is.
How are we feeling out there, guys? What's 10-7? That's the score of the game currently. How we doing? Jack joined us. Look at that. He knew to join. I didn't have to send the link. You got a link for me to send out there? Guys, how are we feeling out there?
To you right now.
I want everyone to write in right now your confidence and excitement level for this year on a 1 to 10. I want you to just write the numbers in right now. If you're like, I'm not looking forward to this, it's not going to be good. That's like a 2-3. If you're super pumped, then maybe give me an 8-9. I want to see what kind of numbers we're popping right now.
Just sent you the link that you could share out if you would like.
5 by Cruz.
Hold on.
10-7 is what he's predicting. A 7 from Little Yankee King. 10 Golden Child. Oh, of course his name would be Golden Child. He sees the world. Everything is gold that glitters. Harold 7. A lot of 7s. What's up, Marco?
Hold on. Mike A is saying rumors of Barkley trade to the Ravens floating out there. Mike, you fell victim to the troll fake email Twitter account of what's the guy's name? Wes.
Because the Ravens just had both of their running backs go down.
Yeah, Wes Steinberg or something like that. What's the guy's name?
I don't know. I don't follow the fake accounts. A 6 from Jose. Trollathon Mike A. A 3 from Mike A. Mike A. I like you, Mike A. I don't know who you are, but I'm around a 3 as well, minus about 3. Let me put it this way, guys. I want to be optimistic about this Giants season. And I don't want to just be negative. And I'm so sick of talking about the offensive line. So I'm going to leave it alone for now. And let's talk about maybe some good things, right? We've got second season with Joe Judge. We've got second season with an offensive coordinator, even though we don't really like him. A lot of people, it's a second year with him and Jones. Saquon looks like he's going to be pretty healthy coming back. It looks like these guys most of them are going to be ready to play. We got the Broncos. So it's not like we're going up against world beaters. They were bad last year. They're much improved. It looks like they can do some things, but it's not like a game that we're definitely going to get steamrolled. Something we could end up winning the game. I'm really trying hard. Can you tell, Marco, that I'm just lying right now about how I really feel? Is my nose growing?
It's almost going to hit me in the head.
You let me know when I can be realistic. You take it from here, and then we're going to go good cop, bad cop. We're going to go good cop, realistic cop. Tell us why we should be excited, and then I'll hit you with the reality.
Well, I'll start first. How about that? We should be excited because, number one, it's a brand new season.
Yes.
Football is back. It seems a little bit more on the normal side. There are going to be fans in the stadium. I'm actually going to go to the Eli retirement game. It's the first time I've been to a game in a long time.
He hasn't retired yet?
The celebration of the retirement.
The retired jersey. What game is that going to be? What's the date on that?
That is Atlanta on the 26th.
Okay.
Am I correct about that? Yeah, I believe that's true.
September 26th?
It's Atlanta, September. Let me pull up the calendar. Yes, September 26th.
Okay.
So that would be how I'm feeling. I'm excited. It's always good to start, 0-0, and
it is
plenty of opportunity out there. Am I so excited how the offseason and the draft went? No, I think we have some glaring holes. I'm sure you want to cover that, but
right.
But
well, what are you most excited about, buddy?
I would say for this team, I am most excited to see the defense back in action.
Okay.
I think our defense is good enough to keep us in games. The rest is to be determined. I think the defense alone could win us multiple games.
Mm-hmm.
Can we score? Can we move the ball? Can we protect Daniel Jones? Is Daniel Jones good? Those are all good questions, I think.
Right. Yeah, I think the defense will be interesting. I think the easy thing to do is to sit here and say, well, they were top 10 last year. Mm-hmm. They add Ojulari another year with Graham. They get Xavier back. They add Adoree. So, we're looking at top 5 defense. But a lot of teams' defense improved. We did lose Tomlinson. We replaced him, not fully, but we replaced him. But I think that, if I had to bet where the Giants defense was going to land this year, I think it'd be similar to last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they took a slight, I don't want to say a step back, but I think they'll be an above average defense. They were about 10 last year. I put them at about 10 to 15 this year. Maybe people catch up to some of Graham's schemes. You got to realize that Bradbury had a career year last year. Is he going to repeat exactly what he did last year? We don't know. Leo had a career year, a contract year last year. Is he going to play that well again? Probably not. He was really incredible last year. He, could be similar to that. But we had, Xavier and some other guys who might have a little bit better pass rush. So I think they'll be comparable to last year, but I don't know that it's necessarily a slam dunk that they're going to be so much improved. But it's good when you have a good defense, this organization especially, right? When you think of defensive organization history, I kind of feel like you think of the Pittsburgh Steelers first and then maybe the Giants second, the Giants, Bears, and maybe of late like the Ravens. But it's good to have a good defense, man. You're in every game,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they will be better. Yes, we lost a piece here and there, but nothing too crazy. Dexter Lawrence still young, up and coming. Leonard Williams now in his prime, still young. You could say he's still up and coming. Contract is done. Hopefully he plays up to it.
Yeah.
Blake Martinez played like a beast. Jimenez and Carter both look healthy, ready to go. And then we got the back that looks great. This is basically McKinney's rookie year.
Right.
Peppers looks good to go. I'm excited. And that's not even covering the multitude of corners that we have. Yeah.
No, it's good. I mean, I have my position grades that I'll whip out later, and there's a lot of really good secondaries out there. So I'm not gonna, I'm putting the Giants secondary at about a B plus. I know people have a heart attack to that. How could you not saying A minus? There's a lot of really good secondaries out there, and the Giants, so some questions still have to be answered, and we have to see how it works out schematically. But I think they have a B plus corner group. I think their corners and their interior defensive line are their 2 B+ groups. They're their best groups. I'm not quite sure they have anything in the AA- range right now, but both of those are borderline B+, A- in my opinion. So, yeah, it should be good to have a good D.
I got a question about the grade. How are you grading that? You're grading that like based on their performance last year and the new pieces added?
Yeah, just what I think they're going to be this year compared to other. I haven't exactly done the math, but maybe there are 2 or 3 A+ secondaries out there, 2 or 3 A secondaries out there, maybe 2 or 3 per grade. So if I put the Giants on the fringe of the top 10 in secondary, that brings them to like an A-, B+ range. And I mean, Adoree hasn't played in a while, and he's banged up already. And McKinney was real good last year in the couple of games we saw, but we still have to see. We got to see what Bradbury's going to be. And
we don't know what he is.
What?
We don't know what Bradbury is?
No, I think I want to see if he's going to be good or if he's going to be great again.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm just, what it is? I just don't want to go overboard because every team's fan base thinks that what they're seeing is the most incredible thing. But I think you could probably list 7 or 8, defensive back groups that are stronger than the Giants' defensive back group. And, but, that's another thing I want to talk about is, well, go ahead, Marco. Where are we going?
Who do you have? What defensive back groups do you have higher than the Giants? Are there many?
I have a list here of some that I think are
breaks out the list.
No, not I don't know. Let's see. I'm not gonna be able to find my list. Let's see. Why? Where do you have them, Marco?
I didn't compile a list, but I would have them at least top. Defensive backs alone, I would have them at least top within the top 5.
Yeah. Well, this is not my list. This is, I know, again, I don't know. This is just a list I saw here.
If it's PFF.
Denver, Baltimore, Cleveland, Buffalo, New England, Green Bay, Giants at 7 is something that I've seen on one list. Another list I'm looking at here, not mine specifically: Baltimore, Buffalo, Denver, Miami, Rams, Browns, Packers, Bucks, Washington, New England, Giants at 11. It's not just me that thinks they're not a top 5 group. These are 2 reputable publications that have them at 7 and 11. So again, it's good. It's damn good. It's better than it's been. It's been an Achilles heel for us in years past. So I'm excited about it. This shouldn't be a negative conversation. This is a strong point of our team. But I think
you're right. It shouldn't be.
We can both agree, Marco. I think everybody agrees that we're feeling pretty good about the Giants' defense, right? And that's not where the issue is going to lie. The Giants can win the Super Bowl with this defense in the NFL. If you have just a serviceable or a good defense, you can win the Super Bowl with that defense, right? It really comes down to the offense, and all the big questions that we have are about Jones, Galladay, the offensive line, Tony, Saquon. So let's dive Garrett. So let's dive into that.
I wouldn't have him in that order, but
no, I'm just saying it's pretty much all of our questions are going to be in that realm.
So first, biggest worry for me this year is obviously the offensive line, because I think with that goes Jones, with that goes Barkley, with that goes Jason Garrett, with that goes the team. And the way the Giants are scrambling to add additional pieces, and as of their update on what was it, Monday or Tuesday, with Nate Soldier being named or unofficially named the starting right tackle, I don't know. This is probably going to be what I'm pulling my hair about all year.
Yeah. Yeah, you know how I feel about this, and just wind me up. I'm like one of those soldier toys. Just wind me up.
Cranking you up.
And here I go. Look, my read on the Giants is this. I think they have an above average defense. I think they have above average weapons. Not top end guys, but they're pretty deep, above average weapons. I think Jones is a serviceable quarterback. I think if anyone thinks he's definitely the franchise or definitely a bust, I think you're wrong. We've seen him make bonehead plays. We've seen him do amazing things. The advanced analytics seem to show when he has a little bit of time, which isn't too much to ask. He's actually a very good quarterback in a lot of situations.
Right.
Certain situations when he has, 3 seconds to throw and the 10 yards downfield, he's got up, 5 points higher, percentage of, completion percentage than any quarterback in football. Like all these little interesting things that kind of show, oh, wait a minute, you keep this guy upright, he could be good. Right. So it really just comes down to two things for me. And here's my overall prediction for the Giants. If the offensive line can be anywhere near decent, and if the team can stay relatively healthy, I think the Giants have a winning record this year and compete for the division. However, unfortunately, I don't think either of those things are going to happen. Every major acquisition they had this year is coming off a major injury. I've never seen anything like it. We got Rudolph, we got Adoree, we got Galladay, even Ross, and then like Saquon coming back, like all the Tony's dealing with. I don't know if there's a HIPAA, but it seems to be maybe a post-COVID issue. Ojulari, they think has potentially. Everyone thought he might have a knee thing. I'm kind of just digging for that one, but
Ingram,
so many injury. Well, please, blessing. But I hope I don't wish bad health upon anybody. But so there's so many injury question marks, but. Here's my offensive line thing, and then I'll cool off, and I'll let you, do your thing. You know how I feel in the offseason, that last year they had a bottom 3 offensive line, any way you slice it. And teams like the Jets, who also had a bottom 3 offensive line, they brought in a nice tackle, they drafted a nice guard, and now they're out of that hole. The Giants' only offseason move was to get rid of Zeitler, who was their best offensive lineman last year. I thought they should have extended Zeitler. I thought they should have brought in a Lindsley or a Scherf or Thuney, whatever his name is, and drafted Slater, who somehow dropped to us at 11. Don't bring in someone like Adoree or Rudolph. I would take that trade, I think, to shore up the offensive line. Our secondary is okay. Maybe you have one maybe potential hole or whatever. Now we've got 5 question marks in the offensive line. We're rushing to pick up scraps from other teams that are getting cut. Oh, who they cut? Okay, he's our starting right guard now. Like, it's embarrassing. And in a crucial year for Jones and a comeback year for Saquon, I don't see how you can put this offensive line out there. And I hope I'm wrong. And I like all of the guys. I think they work their asses off. I like them. They're tough. They're doing their best. And I hope I'm wrong. I just don't see it right now. So my final statement here is hearing these coaches as a fan getting ready to start a season, hearing these, and I know they have to, but hearing these coaches say, we believe in this offensive line as a fan, I feel like I'm getting onto an airplane and the engine's on fire. And the pilot's like, we believe in that engine.
That engine is getting us where we're going.
That's how I feel. So anyway, that's my overall feeling on the Giants. Above average defense, above average weapons. I think I still have belief in Jones, and I hope the O-line plays really well. But I'm afraid if I had to bet, the offensive line will be a mess. And I'm betting injuries will rear its ugly head on us a little bit. So below 500 record is what I'm thinking. I can't decide on 6 or 7 wins just yet. Go ahead, Marco. Make us feel better. And tell me in the comments what you guys might think about what I said. Am I totally off base? What are you feeling?
Let's go back to the start. So Gettleman is hired, comes out, press statement saying, you guys know I'm about the trenches. Basically, I'm going to bring in the hog molly. Cuts Bobby hard, starts moving Eric Flowers around, later cuts him at the end of the year or traded him, whatever. Puts pieces together, doesn't work. Fire Shermer. O-line still sucks. This is year 1. Year 2, we're bringing in Joe Judge. They bring in Mark Colombo, mid-year, they fire him. They bring in, Joe DeFlippo. Is it Joe DeFlippo? Fire him. Don't renew him. He doesn't want out. O-line, still a mess. They take Andrew Thomas, who was supposed to be day one starter, ready, NFL body. Hasn't been. Granted, he's still young. If it was his goal, all about the trenches, you can't just select defensive tackle, and totally neglect the damn offensive line. They haven't improved. They haven't got us one win. I can't remember the last time I said, wow, the O-line looks really good.
I can. Seattle last year. When what's-his-face started. Who was the backup that came in? The dude from Texas?
And he started?
Yeah. Colt McCoy? No.
No, that was that was the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seattle. We pushed Seattle's defense around last year. That was when we were like, holy crap, this team's that was the one offensive line game where they looked good. By the way, I want to let you know, my mom just texted me. Mm-hmm. I think everything you said was very insightful. So that pretty much means I was right.
Shut it down.
That pretty much means I was correct. And I don't have the power, guys, just to let you guys know, this is Marco's show. I don't have the power to put anything up on the screen. But Marco, if you could put Mike A's comment where he said, agree, Will, 100%, that would make me feel good. So Mike A, if you could just toss that one up there. You know what I want to say in fairness, as much.
He said that so long ago. What are you talking about?
What? It's right there. 21, 39, 15. What is that? Like measurements of a girl? What is this? A timestamp? Put that up there. I agree 100%. Makes you feel good. And Nick is also on my side there. There it is. And look at that. I like that. That's my new screensaver. Marco, I have to say something my buddy Jack and I were talking about the other day. Mm-hmm. I'm really hard on Gettleman, but in all fairness, he put a lot of effort in to making the offensive line better. He brought in what's that?
It's his job.
No, but here's what I'm saying. Now we sound like we've switched positions, but hear me for a second. The 1 year, 2 years ago, he brought in Solder, who's not great, but he was the best available, and we needed it. And he brought in Will Hernandez, who I loved, everyone loved, and had a great rookie year, and it was a steal in the second round.
Underperforming.
Right. He brought in Andrew Thomas last year, which I was a fan of Andrew Thomas's. Mm-hmm. He brought in a couple guys later on, and he was making an effort bringing guys in, and you could say, well, then the scouting is just terrible, and he brought in the wrong guys, and that's part of it. Sure. But this year, to me, was the most inexcusable that I've seen. This remains to be true. You had arguably the worst offense. It's an important position. It's not like running back or just like a bad strong safety. It's 5/11 of you. It's half your offense. It moves the whole offense. You had arguably the worst O-line in football last year. You've got a quarterback who's on the brink confidence-wise and career-wise. He could be a star or he could be out of the league in 2 years. He could be shipped off like Sam Darnold.
Right.
And the only major offseason move you make is to let, in my opinion, your best offensive lineman walk to get even worse, like to just start a season and be like, you know what? We believe in these guys. I mean, there's belief, but I mean, I got to tell this guy about the Easter Bunny too. I don't understand. I can make analogies all day. You have the worst pitching staff. You let your best pitcher go and bring no one else in, and you're expecting to go into next year. I don't get it. So maybe they see things we don't see, but
does it sting just a little bit that they restructure Logan Ryan? They do convert all the Sterling Shepard's money into guaranteed to make it more cap friendly. So now there's like $10 to $12 million. Isn't that Zeitler money?
Yeah, and look, I mean,
you can do that and just resign Zeitler.
I don't mean to make it sound like he's an all-star. He's 31, but he's at least solid. You don't really have to worry about him. And I wanted them to extend him 3 years, $24 million to make $8 million a year, and that would have actually lowered their cap. I think he took $6 million a year wherever. I don't even remember where he went. I've blocked it all out.
It's too dramatic.
They could have kept him, and it just would have been a nice, solid piece. So we have 4 question marks instead of 5 question marks. But could you imagine? Would you feel better right now about the Giants if they had, let's say, Scherf, Slater, and Zeitler on the offensive line, and we didn't have Rudolph or Adoree? Wouldn't you rather that? And not have Tony, I guess, because you wouldn't have. And we could talk about Tony, and the more I've digested Tony, the less I'm liking the pick.
The more agility you have.
Yeah, for your number 1 overall pick on a bad team. I know they traded back to bring in a guy who may or may not be a starter and is kind of a number 3 receiver. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think it's weird. That's the kind of move you make if you're right there. If you're a team that's in the AFC championship game or NFC championship game, and you're like, you know what, we're a slot receiver away from the Super Bowl. But to bring in a slot guy, and I don't know, he's a rapper. He's had some run-ins with the law in the past. Mm-hmm. He's mysteriously out. Maybe that was, again, COVID related or whatever. I don't think it's hard to be excited about him, but everything could change. He could catch a slant over the middle on Sunday, make a couple of crazy moves, score a 60-yard touchdown, and I'm going, great pick. It's what Jones needed, So
that's basically what I need.
Did you guys hear that?
I
just busted my elbow on my bar cart here.
No, it didn't pick up.
Look at my head bobbling, Bob. Can you guys see my bobblehead moving?
Yes, I do. I think Tampa Bay just scored.
Did they? I got the Yankees versus Toronto here. I always wanted to play for the Yankees, and now it looks like maybe I can. God. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Maybe Zeitler didn't want to play on our crappy line, says Mike A. Mike, watch the language. Let's see. Overpaid for him already. It is what it is, but the bottom line is the team would be better with him on it than without him on it. Let's see. Darisaw was on the board.
Yeah,
for that tackle at 11. But, I mean, Slater was there. He was kind of the guy we were drooling over. So, Marco, what do you a lot of people saying this is a make-or-break year for Daniel Jones. Do you think that's fair, or do you think if the line is crappy, then we can't really blame him necessarily?
I think that's going to be the excuse. I think if the Giants underperform this year and don't get more than 7 to 8 wins, Gettleman should be gone. Basically everyone but Joe Judge should be gone.
Yeah, what do you think the limit is? What do you think the deal is there? You think there's a win limit of, okay, if we're 6-11, you think, I mean, who's on the hot seat? You think they're all out?
So in the meantime that we were on podcast, I updated the website. I've been trying to put out small pieces of stuff, and I saw CBS put coaches that were on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And they included Joe Judge in it. And they had some valid points.
Peace, Nick.
But I don't think that personally they're gonna let him go. I think he's gonna save himself, and it's gonna be everyone else. If they're not at least you can't have 500 now. If they're not floating around that 500 mark, he's gone. They have to be gone. Gettleman is the oldest GM in the NFL. And he's 33, 15 and 33 or something along that line?
What, 3, 4, 5 wins? What have been this past year? 6?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
Are his 4? Gettleman's been here 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gone 4, 3, 5, 6, I think is where it's at. So
yeah,
that's 18 wins.
See, Mike A., I agree with you. GMs usually don't want their own coaches, and that's why usually you fire the GM and you fire the coach at the same time.
But Judge it seems to have – that's another thing I want to talk about. And I feel like this show should be called Tell Me If I'm Wrong, because I'm constantly going against the tide here, and I'm just trying to be objective. I think we're almost becoming like the other. What?
Numb.
We're almost becoming like the fan base from the other side of town, where the grass is always
greener
in their mind, greener. No, I won't mention them, but you know how they've been beaten down for so long and awful for like 200 years. So any glimmer of anything, they just go crazy.
Yeah.
Hear these words. I like Joe Judge. I'm glad Joe Judge is our coach. I think there could be a future with Joe Judge. However, keep that there. I think he's being way overplayed at this point. I think people, if you just heard the way they talked about him, it's like he is the Messiah. He's like Messier coming to the Rangers. He's like Parcells coming to the. You're seeing comparisons where it's like he's this genius guy who's just running this ship, and it's absolutely, and it might work, but at the end of the day, he's coached here 1 year. They won 6 games, right? I just think the hype right now is a little bit more than it deserves at the moment. I think people hear Saban, they hear Belichick, they think Judge is their child, and they're like, this is going to be our savior. He dove in the mud, this and that. Again, I like him, but I haven't necessarily seen, as he coached in game, it was okay. Sometimes he challenged. I was wondering why he didn't challenge certain things. I didn't, some in-game decisions. I was like, So I'm cautiously optimistic with him, but would you kind of agree with me that people are talking about him as if we went 12-4 last year and it was just like this huge, amazing turnaround? Do you think they're giving him a little too much credit right now?
I have my question marks. I one of the most silliest things that has me questioning Joe Judge is at the end of one of the preseason games, a reporter comes up to me and he's putting on a Southern accent. Like,
what? I missed that. I didn't make it to the end of the preseason games.
Yeah, he started talking like he was Southern accent, like he was still coaching, in college. I was like, oh, what is he doing? What is he doing? And it was so obvious.
He's what? He's a Pennsylvania boy, right?
Like Pittsburgh, right?
So that's kind of, they have some weird accents once in a while. They do. I've been there. It sounds a little Southern.
So
that's the main reason that you have question marks about Joe Judge.
that just had my eyes up. And I know it's crazy. For some reason, with his repetitive talks and like the same phrases over and over again to the media,
yeah,
reminds me of Ben McAdoo.
I never wanted to hear that name again. It's like the hyenas hearing Mufasa.
Yeah,
but hey, McAdoo won 11 games in his first year, didn't he?
He did.
Joe Judge seems very basic to me. I would rather have a guy. There's some younger coaches out there who seem at least like they've got a little bit of sizzle, a little bit of personality. Not that it matters. Belichick has no personality. I get it. But he's just like, we're going to go out. Like, I feel like everything he says, he's like so serious. And like everything's like a couple words at a time. He just kind of stares at you. And he kind of just says it. We're going to go out there. But he's just saying basic stuff. So again, cautiously optimistic. I'm cool with Joe Judge, but when you hear people talk about the Giants, like, what do you think? Well, look, I mean, Judge, we got Judge. I mean, he's going to lead us there. He's going to take us to the promised land. Joe Judge. I just don't think he's earned that yet. I'm hoping he does.
It's Steve Gettleman's fault. I agree. McAdoo was doo-doo. I agree that. Joe Judge is good. Dave Gettleman countdown begins. I think it begins on Sunday. It's probably already began. Oh, hold on. Ready? Can you hear
What
this?
do you got?
Hey, whoever's got that, turn that off. Just turn that off.
As Judge?
Hey, whoever's got that, turn that off.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Just turn that off.
His whole thing is like, I'm going to be tougher and more in your face and more basic about everything. And the community likes that. And New York is like that. And we're going to put a product in the field that New York is about.
Like he comes out with
like a high school,
and then he comes out with like, I just don't feel it's so genuine at sometimes.
So Intel just wrote Joe Judge is good, and I've been so conditioned with the way a lot of a lot of Giants fans talk that I real quick I thought he was saying Joe Judge is God. So I think that I think that tells you how I feel there. But so, all right. So let's just get to it, man. What are you forecasting for this year for the Giants? Where are you at? We got 17 games to work with. What are you going with wins wise? And everybody write to us right now. What's the Giants record at the end of this year?
I think it's going to be
because you're usually the optimist and I'm usually the
I
pessimist.
think it's going to be 6 wins.
Whoa. Why?
There's too many question marks. The offensive line is so poor. Daniel Jones, big question mark. And if he is going to succeed, he's going to need some help with the line specifically. Got a bunch of injuries already starting the season. Galladay banged up. Evan Ingram, who no one seems to like anymore, banged up. Saquon Barkley's coming back. I think no need to rush him. Looks like he's going to be day one.
Yeah, I agree.
Intel. Oh.
All right.
You looking at the schedule as well?
Let me say that. Well, the Giants, statistically, they have one of the bottom 5 easiest schedules in football, I think. They're just bad. I saw a poll on Twitter from some Giants publication the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Are the Giants going to make the playoffs? Hundreds of votes. And when I saw it, it was like 70-30. Yes.
That they would make the playoffs.
Yeah. And I'm like, are we Jets fans now? Like, are we doing this? Like, maybe they could, but 70-30?
Was it a Giant-centric account?
Yeah. It was a Giants, but still, I would think Giants fans, I put no, it could happen. And I think a lot of it is because people say, well, the NFC East sucks, but we don't know what the division's going to be. 11-6. See, these are the 2 predictions we're getting. 11-6, NFC East title, but first round exit. That's LI Yankee King. I called him Lil before. That's Long Island Yankee King trying to be realistic about it. Well, they're gonna lose in the first round, but they're going 11-6. I want you to write to us and tell us how a team that went 6-10 last year
goes 6-11 this year.
goes 11-6 this year when the O-line is going to be about as the same, even if the defense is a little better and the offense is a little better, the weapons. I don't know. What's the best you could see? Again, I could see them winning 9 games if the O-line surprises us and if they stay healthy. I could see them going 9-8, but I can't go higher than that.
Right. And isn't Shane Lemieux's arm hanging on by he's supposed to have surgery? He's going to try to play through it. How does that usually go?
Do we even know what is the projected starting lineup then? It's Thomas. Who's the left guard? Lemieux?
I believe it is
Bredesen.
Hold on. I'm pulling it up right now.
And guys, don't let us stifle you. If you want to have belief, have belief. I'm not trying to tell you.
Yeah, so the tackles are
coming this year. I'm just saying.
The tackles as of their official depth chart, unofficial, is Thomas and
Solder. Right.
Right guard, they have Will Hernandez. Left, They have Shane Lemieux and Nick Gates as center. All
right. So the same thing as last year, the same personnel, except plus Solder, and then a switch of the side of the field. And I think Hernandez, excuse me, I'm having an episode here. I think Hernandez maybe is, I'm not writing him off. I mean, he's been good for a year and okay for a year and not so great for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I mean, he's not, 2080, potentially he could have a bounce back year. And Andrew Thomas, I mean, I don't see anything good coming from him yet. And I watched some preseason games and it's just getting collapsed. I don't know how you just forget to play football, but I know people said it was injured last year. And I think he was even listed this year. I think I saw him listed earlier today with a potential injury, an ankle or something he's dealing with.
Yeah, he's questionable as of today.
Yeah. So I don't know, man.
If you want to know who's questionable going into the first game, we have Barkley, Galladay, Evan Ingram, Andrew Thomas, Kadarius Toney, Kyle Rudolph, Caden Smith, Adoree Jackson, and those are all the big names.
Yeah. I mean, how well do you think Jones can perform. I mean, do you think he has the ability with a shaky O-line? Because, someone mentioned to me, I saw someone mention that.
Daniel Jones is magic with his legs.
Who's that?
Evan Roberts.
So
Daniel Jones is magic with his legs.
Okay, now you know.
Someone mentioned to me that when the Giants won their second Super Bowl, their offensive line was very poorly ranked. And that they kind of, we forget about that because the personnel was good and we remember the 07 iteration of that line. But, is it possible? I mean, look, the Giants aren't winning the Super Bowl, right? But is it possible to have a successful year with a porous offensive line? I mean, and it's a lot to ask of Jones. Jones can run, but I wouldn't say he's like necessarily a shifty quarterback or great. There's a difference between being able to run downfield. Yeah, he can do that at least for 50 yards and then he falls down. But I don't think he has good pocket presence. And I think a lot of times he steps into sacks or doesn't step into the pocket, and that's why the sack gets him. I think when the tackles collapse a bit, he stays back instead of doing that jump step up that we see people like Brady and other guys do. So I think he is responsible for some of the sacks, but you got to give him a little bit of time. I mean, there are plays where the offensive line, it's like there's no one even out there. And you can't have that. By the way, I've never really seen Galladay play much. Is he just a straight run down the field guy and you throw it up there? I mean, does he have any kind of skill when it comes to?
He's skillful. He's tough. He makes tough catches too.
But I mean, I've seen his highlights. But is he the kind of guy who's gonna, be able to catch a slant and turn it up and make a move, or is he kind of just a one-trick pony? It's sort of like a Plax or like a Calvin Johnson downgrade where he's a little stiff.
No, he's a good wide receiver. I liked him. I thought, even when the trade rumors, when Gettleman tried to get him at the end of the year, I thought it was a good move.
Yeah. Let's see here. It's all on Thomas. And Will, by the way, it's 4-2 Jays in the 8th for the season for the Yankees is over. So, yeah, I have the game on right here. Rizzo's up. No outs, 2 guys on in the 8th. Little potential rally happening here. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's really been
a good year to bad O-line.
Very streaky. Marco just cut my Yankee talk right off. It's very streaky this year for the Yankees. Marco's a Mets fan, so in due time, I believe the offensive line will get better with the new pickup. Who's the new pickup? Didn't they bring like 5?
Yeah, they brought 5 veterans in and
guys in. I think by like week 3. Our entire offensive line is going to be these secondhand veterans that we brought in. I really do. I mean, how disappointing. Well, then again, I was going to say how disappointing is it watching Matt Pert, get some reps last year. We're hoping he could be whatever, and they make him the starter this year, and then he loses his job. To Nate Solder, a guy who hasn't played football in 500 days.
For me, I would rather have the young guys play and struggle rather than bringing in all these old vets, and they're not the future of the team.
Yeah, but if Jones is the future of the team, I'd rather we saw that. I'd rather we had 5 35-year-old guys who give Jones a little bit and we see that he can do it than have 5 24-year-olds who just get hammered and then we never know what Jones could have been. I know what you're saying, but I can't. Like, how disappointed can you be that Pert didn't turn out? He's a 3rd-round pick who they admitted when a 3rd-round pick from UConn who they knew was very rough around the edges, and they were going to basically try to teach him football because they liked his frame. Mm-hmm. That's not the kind of guy you should be counting on to be your right tackle. That's someone that if it turns out, great. Yeah. If it works out, great. But I don't think you could be like, well, that was our plan. That was our guy. And now that didn't work. What are you going to do? No, you can count on a 1st-round pick, maybe even a 2nd-round pick. But when you're drafting a guy in the 3rd round, you can't be like, well, that's our plan for the future of right tackle. No, That's why I always tell you we've lowered the bar so much.
Yeah, it's
And
not
we
like
keep saying they're going to turn it around. They're going to turn it around. Good teams don't do that. Good teams have 3 or 4, 1 or 2 studs, 1 or 2 really solid guys, and maybe one offensive lineman that you say, well, it's a 4th-round pick. He was rough last year. Let's give him another shot. We'll put him out there for a few games, see if he's learned. You can't have 4 or 5 guys where you're like, well, hopefully they pick it up this year. Hopefully they learn how to play football in the NFL. It's just too much. So we'll see what they are. We're so down on them. I give them an F that it can only be up from here, right? I mean, even if they're just okay, even if Jones even if Saquon has like 2 holes a game, I'll be like, hey, the offensive line really picked it up, So, by the way, the Yankee rally is over.
that ended, huh?
No, Stanton hit into double play. Giants got Matt Pert needs work. He is not a starter yet. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Gettleman botched it, plain and simple. Heads will roll if the Giants are bad. The Giants aren't much of a heads roll franchise, but I think Gettleman is gone.
Giants got a lease split between Denver and Washington, 1-1, 0-2. Sorry, unacceptable.
It's going to be a real
Elo 80.
Dude,
Listen, they're going to be in both those games, I think. I don't think that either team is going to walk over them.
It's going to be really interesting because we got 2 games in 5 days.
Oh, that's also true because you got the Sunday game, then boom, you turn around, it's a Thursday game, right?
Yeah, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So within a 5-day, like we could be 0-2 and be talking about who next year's draft pick
in only 5 games, yeah.
Or we could be 2-0 and maybe the O-line looks good and we're like playoffs, or 1-1 where it's kind of like, I think, kind of take it, but we'll see what happens, man. Everything is a question mark right now, except hopefully the defense, because the defense was good last year. Everybody's back but Dalvin. We added a few pieces, so that's nice to know that at least I think even if they disappoint, we'll have an average defense.
So I got a question.
The entire offense, there's not a single offensive player other than Sterling Shepard. Other than Sterling Shepard, there is not a single player on the offense, whether injury-wise or production-wise, that is not a complete question mark. Agreed?
Let's go through it.
Jones,
Galladay,
Tony, Slayton, the entire offensive line, Saquon. Everybody's a question mark except Sterling Shepard. We know what we're getting out of Sterling Shepard. A solid, solid performance.
I've never even thought of it that way.
Jason Garrett.
Why? That's so true. Yes. Jones question mark. Barkley question mark. Galladay question mark. Sterling, we know. Slayton question mark. Ingram, of course. Elijah Penny, is that?
Oh, Penny! You could bet your bottom penny on him.
Oh my God, that's so bad.
Yeah, we've got 10 question marks.
Why am I coming out of this podcast feeling worse? Come on.
You invited me on, and I'm hitting you with a dose of reality. We've been avoiding this. Marco, I said this to my dad the other day. I said, you know what Sunday feels like? Normally, I look forward to the football season. It's like Christmas season. I'm like, I can't wait to get there. For the first time, it feels like a dentist appointment I can't get out of. I don't want the season to start. I've been wanting it to start, and now that it's getting closer, I wish it was next week. I don't want to go through this. I can't. There are things I can watch. If you have a good offense and a bad defense, at least it's kind of exciting. There's certain things I could deal with. Well, we don't really have weapons, but we have a running game or whatever. But a bad offensive line is just about as bad as it gets. When every single snap and the defensive ends, and then they start to smell blood, and they get 1 or 2 sacks, then it's 3rd and 8, and they can just smell it in the water, and you're just like this because you know what's happening on the next play, especially on the road. I hope I'm wrong, man. But where's your confidence? How about this? Where's your confidence in the offensive line, the 5 guys we have starting? Let's rank them in order of how confident we are.
You're
going to go Nick Gates number 1, aren't you?
Yeah, because at least I know he's tough and he's bringing and he seems accountable.
And center isn't that glaring when you get beat, obviously, right? It's kind of like you're sharing responsibility. A tackle is always the worst. But okay, so Gates is your secure guy.
Where are you going after?
I might go Gates 1. Even Hernandez at guard, and I don't know what to expect with Solder, but I guess I could go.
Shane Lemieux.
I'm going to go with Will Hernandez. I'm going to go with Will Hernandez. I feel like he's going to have a nice rebound year. I'll go Hernandez 1, Gates 2.
3.
Solder
at 3. Oh boy. Where who falls next?
I think Lemieux. I think Thomas is the guy I trust the least right now. I watched him.
Do I have to replay the old your breakdowns of Andrew Thomas pre-draft?
I know, dude.
So is it coaching? What is it?
Okay. I was talking to my buddy Jack the other day, and I said the Andrew Thomas. There are certain moments in your life, Marco, that change you forever.
Mm-hmm.
Birth of a child, death of a loved one, wedding day, right? There's things that happen, right? First time you meet Eli Manning. These are all big moments. I think that there has been a watershed moment here, a life-changing moment with what's gone on here between – I was like, okay, who do I want the Giants to get, Andrew Thomas or Tristan Wirfs? And I was back and forth. I'm like, Thomas is right now, his skills, his technique, he is ready, high floor, whatever. Wirfs maybe a little rougher, but a physical freak. Jumping out of the freaking combine, thick, big, strong, technique not as good. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'll take either of them, but I think I'll take the guy who's like the finished product. Let's go with Thomas. He's there right now. And after seeing what these two guys did their rookie year and seeing a couple of preseason games with Thomas, it has forever changed me. And now I just want the physical freak. I don't care if he's ever played football again in his entire life. I don't care if he's ever played football. Just give me the most physically freakish guy. It's changed my entire paradigm because unless Andrew Thomas really picks it up, I don't know. That other stuff doesn't matter. How good you were in college and whatever. It just give me the guy who projects better. I think I'm starting to shift to that. Intel, I hope you're right. I hope Thomas is a lot better.
Neil Keefe. Thank you for the follow, Neil Keefe. Blog and podcast, KeefeToTheCity.com, author of the next Yankees era My Train. Do you know him?
Who?
Neil Keefe.
Where are you seeing this? What's happening?
He was watching the show.
What's up, Neil?
I don't know. Now I do, I guess. Making new friends.
So I think it's really
man.
And these Georgia guys, our last couple of guys that we brought in from Georgia, Thomas had a rough year. Although, okay, let's call it what it is. Maybe I'm being too harsh here. All right, because he did get better as the season went on. He did have a busted wheel. Maybe I should take back some of the stuff I said. Maybe it's still too early. But I remember just watching a couple of preseason snaps, and he just got beat real easy. And I heard he was having trouble in practice, and I'm just like, he's not improved. But wait. Oh, what the hell was I about to say? I don't know. Go ahead, Marco. I burned my mind out here. You brought up Neil Keefe and changed everything.
Totally changed everything. I don't know.
Love our secondary. Yeah. I heard what's his face on the Fan today. Actually, I called up the Fan today to talk about Derek Jeter. Not the Fan. I talked to Michael Kay and the guys on ESPN Radio. They had Logan Ryan on just before right before I got on. So two big interviews that they landed. And So
I got a question.
Yeah, what do you got?
Does it sting? So we've been doing this maybe 2 years, right? 2-3 years. Does it sting that you look over at the Jets and they have Becton and Vera Tucker?
Yeah.
Both players are, you're like, who these guys are good. I think the Giants should get them in there, both on the Jets.
I think the Giants should what?
you were saying pre-draft for both of them that they're good players, and you would like to see the Giants draft them.
Yeah,
Both
Becton I
of them.
wasn't as high on, but I wouldn't mind him getting him. But yeah, Vera Tucker, I would have been fine if the Giants signed Vera Tucker, drafted him at 11. And so yeah, when the Jets got, I was praying he would. Where did the Jets get him? Just before the Giants, just like before 20, right before we went.
I'll look it up.
I would have loved if the Giants grabbed him at 20. So, oh man, I had one other point to make, and I can't. I was talking about the offensive line. I was talking about Thomas, and we'll see, man. I don't know, but it's just it could change from week to week, and I hope that they play better. And I don't know if this offensive line coach can do something, if they make some adjustments, whatever it is. But what have you been hearing about, like, practice and how they've been looking and different things like that? I mean, is there any? Do you see anything saying, hey, maybe it's not that bad?
It's tough to tell. Half the writers are like, oh, then they seem to be playing well, and half of them are like, this ain't it. So I don't know. The way we're going to find out is when we actually see the line up with not like piecemeal on game one.
The another big factor is going to be Jason Garrett. The statistics that just show about pre-snap motion and different looks and how important that is. And for the Giants, I mean, they line up and they don't do any of that stuff. And we talked about it last year about like when that became like a big deal. Everybody was talking about pre-snap motion and doing different things.
And he was like second or third to the bottom, correct?
Yeah, he was like last in football. But then when that stat came out, they were playing that game at Dallas. Mm-hmm. Was it the game where Dak's foot fell off? And the first like 8 plays, they were doing like triple reverse flea flickers, handing the ball off, direct snaps to Evan Ingram. They were like dropping the ball. It was like freaking Harlem Globetrotters. And I'm like, they just like weren't ready for it. The Giants weren't ready for it. So, and that's another thing I want to talk about is like Tony, this whole idea of like, we got to find creative ways to put the ball in Tony's hands. We got to find creative ways to put the ball in Saquon's hands. And I don't necessarily believe in that. I think you kind of just play
a way to get him on the field. How about that?
Yeah. But I just don't believe in that. I think you kind of just play football. I don't think there's too much. They used to do that with Beckham all the time. Let's find just put the ball in his hands. I still think you're better off executing a good play. And if the player that gets it happens to be good, maybe it'll be a little bit of a better play. But I don't believe in changing an entire offense around just to try to put, we have to get, this guy has to get 10 touches. This guy has to get 5 touches. I
don't know. No, I don't think anything was excited as watching Odell run a slant and catch that ball perfectly in stride of gone.
Right. But that was just a slant. That wasn't like them trying to do anything fancy. If they want to throw slants to Tony, I'm all for it. But, I just don't – I hope they don't have to change the whole game plan around to try to, get certain guys touches and this and that. But so anyway, I don't know. I mean, Intel's all about Tony. I like Tony. I had him as my 31st overall ranked prospect. They took him at 20, and it was a non-need pick, so I wasn't thrilled with it, but I like him as a player.
They did pick up another – they traded down. First time Gettleman has actually traded down, and they picked up an extra pick.
Yeah.
Chicago's, and I don't know how good Chicago's going to be this year, so that could be pretty valuable.
By the way, the best thing that happened in this entire offseason, besides the Giants getting Galladay, was Aaron Rodgers going back.
Oh, to Chicago?
To Green Bay.
Oh, Green Bay to play Chicago, yeah.
Because that might be 2 extra wins. That might be, if Rodgers doesn't go back to Green Bay and Fields plays well and the Packers tank and who knows what happens to the Vikings if the Lions aren't good. You don't want the Bears winning the division at like 9-8, and all of a sudden they're picking the Giants pick for them is like 22nd. You don't want that. So, I mean, I think We'll have to see. We'll have to see what it is. It starts up on Sunday. I'm excited just to see them in the uniforms and just to see. Hopefully, the stadium is full. Are they doing any kind of restrictions? Do you know what the thing is? Are they doing any? You have to show any vax things or any kind of a COVID test or whatever? Do you know anything about that?
Don't know. I don't think you do.
Okay,
I don't know if it's a fully vaxxed event. I think it's
just open like Yankee Stadium.
As of now, I don't know if that's going to change.
All right, so we'll see. We're starting a new season. Hopefully, it's a good one. What you're going with 6-11?
Yeah. Do you want to give a specific prediction for
this week's game?
this week's game?
I don't know enough about Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And it's week 1, man. Like, God, there could be like a blowout either way. Like if you're just not, one team just comes out hot, the other one doesn't, or something goes your way and it's just like it starts to unravel. I don't know, because I feel like they're evenly matched, kind of. I should predict a win. It's the first. I should just be a Giants fan and predict a win.
Let's predict wins.
All right, I'll predict a win. I'll predict 20-19 in Super Bowl 25 style. 20-19 Giants.
I'll go 23-17 Giants. How about that?
I have to change my pick to Denver. I'm sorry.
You can't do it.
I can't look.
You're cut
Guys,
off.
I'm going to go.
You're cut off. That's it.
I'm going to pick Denver at 20. What are you going? 24-17 Giants?
21-17. Yeah, I'll make it easy, man.
All right. I'm going to go 20. I'm going to go 24-13 Denver.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
I don't know. I might give them a 7th win, though. I might give the Giants a 7th win instead of 6. I'm not sure. I'll say 7-10.
So before we close this out, I wanted to thank everyone who's like jumped in the chat, watching all that. It's not doing it since the last draft and then jumping in today with no notice and people just, pop on in. Is thankful for that. That's pretty awesome.
Yes, here. Love you guys. It's the reason we do it, other than to have therapy and to hear us talk.
I'm going to try to be more regular for all the people that keep on asking. I'm going to try to be more regular, and I'm around.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Go Giants. Here's to a great season. All right. Here's to hopefully a great season, hopefully a playoff season. Hopefully the line looks good, Jones looks good, and we can start to build for the future. So let's leave it on that note, Marco.
All right.
Great things.
Adios, everyone. I'll talk to you later. Will, thank you so much.
Of course. Later, guys.
Later.